Hello students, today we are going to discuss about three short topics, and that is viroids, prions and lichens. So first of all, let me go through viroids. So what is the viroids? It is an infectious agent with a free low molecular weight RNA, and also they do not have any kind of a protein coat. Okay, if you compare viroids with the viruses, you know very well viruses will have RNA or a DNA in the center, and it will be surrounded by the protein coat. But here in this case, in case of viroids, there is only a low molecular weight single fragment of RNA, and they do not have any kind of a protein coat. Okay, and also these are the organisms which are smaller than the viruses. Okay, and it is firstly discovered by T.O. Diner in 1971. Okay, and he found that it caused potato spindle tuber diseases in this potato. Okay, and here you can see the viral particle. Okay, this is the only RNA particle. Here you can observe it is not covered or surrounded by the protein coat. So only this naked RNA will be there. Okay, there is a totally absent of any kind of protein coat, and this is the differentiating feature if you compare it with the viruses. So what are the differences between viroids and virus? So viroids have only RNA fragment, and it is not surrounded by protein cover, or whether we can say that it is a naked RNA content. Okay, and here you can see the photograph. This is the electron microscopy of a viroids. Okay, and here you can see potato spindle tuber disease, which is caused by the viroids. Next is the prions. So let us go through this. What is a prions and how it will be differentiated from viruses and viroids. Okay, so first of all, these are abnormally folded protein. Here you can see. Okay, this is the protein, folded protein. Okay, and that are considered as a prions. Okay, so they are abnormally folded protein only. Okay, that cause some infectious neurological diseases. They are very harmful. Okay, and maybe cause a neurological infectious diseases. These are similar in size to viruses. Prions are responsible for causing bovine spongiform encephalopathy, or it is also called BAC, and it is also considered as a mad cow disease in a cattle. Here you can see this is a mad cow disease, infectious disease that is in the cattle, and it may be cause analogous variant similar to that. Okay, in a case of a human, and that is called Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. Okay, or it is also considered a CJD in human. Okay, so these prions are very infectious, we can say. Okay, and it is a similar size in if you compare it with the viruses, and they do not have any kind of nucleic acid inside them, but just they have a protein coat. Okay, and this protein coat is a abnormally folded protein. Okay, and that may cause some infectious neurological diseases. Here in this slide, you can see the comparison between viroids and the prions. So let me understand what is the differences between viroids and prions. It may be asked in 2 marks. Okay, so viroids are an infectious RNA molecule, as I told you. Okay, viroids are nothing but it is an infectious naked RNA molecule. Why I am calling it as a naked? Because it is not covered by the proteins. Okay, and that's why here written infectious RNA molecule. Okay, and they may cause plant diseases, or it will interfere with the metabolism. Okay, and it will be transmitted just as per the viruses. And here you can see the structure of a viroids, typical viroids. Okay, and it is not covered or surrounded by the protein coat. Okay, this is the difference from the viruses. Now let me see about the prions. They are infectious protein molecule. Here these are infectious RNA molecule, nucleic acid molecule, and here prions are infectious protein molecule. Here nucleic acid is absent, and here you can see protein is absent. Okay, this is the basic difference in between this. Animal or a human disease they may cause. Okay, insomnia or mad cow disease. Okay, so these are the differences between viroids and prions, and you should remember this. Now let me compare between viruses, viroids and prions. Okay, so first of all, viruses are obligate intracellular agents, and also they are consist of either DNA or RNA. Okay, they may be present this RNA or DNA, not never both. Okay, and it will be surrounded by protein coat. Okay, and whereas viroids are obligate intracellular agents just like the viruses, but they consist only RNA. So if you compare it with these viruses, here you can see they will contain RNA as well as DNA, but here in case of viruses only RNA is present. Okay, whereas here you can see protein coat is present always, but here no protein coat will be found. This is the major differences between viroids and viruses. Okay, now let us see about prions. So prions are abnormal form of a cellular proteins. Okay, and they may consist of only protein. Here only protein content is there, no DNA, no RNA, means nucleic acid is totally absent. So this is the basic differences between viruses, viroids and prions. Next important organism is the lichens. Okay, and these lichens are also not included in RH Whittaker classification. So as I told you, RH Whittaker classification do not include viruses, viroids or prions, and also lichens. Okay, so let us see what are the lichens. So lichens are symbiotically associated. Okay, what is a symbiotically associated organism? They are mutually useful association, means benefit to each other. Okay, and between algae and fungi. So this is not a simple organism or individual organism. What are the lichens? Lichens means if algae and fungi symbiotically associated with each other, okay, and mutually give benefits to each other, and such a relationship is called lichens. Okay, the algal component of any lichen means if you see any lichen will have alga as well as fungi, right? Okay, so if you see this algal component, the name for this algal component is called phycobiont. Okay, so here phyco means related to algae. Okay, so if a component which is the algal component inside the lichen is considered as a phycobiont, and that phycobiont can photosynthesis. Okay, can do photosynthesis, and that's why here written it is autotrophic. Okay, whereas the fungal component, okay, as I told you, lichens consider as a two organism, means it conclude two organisms, algae as well as fungi. So whatever the component which is algal related component is called phycobiont, and this component is a autotrophic. Whereas another component is a fungal component, and this fungal component is considered as a mycobiont. Okay, so what is the meaning of a myco? Myco means a fungus. Okay, biont means the composition or a living organism which is related to fungus. So this is the heterotrophic, means they cannot do photosynthesis. Okay, so algal component will do photosynthesis and will help to the fungus. Okay, and this fungus can do heterotrophic nutrition, and that's why they will help to the algal. Means by this way alga will get benefit from the fungus, and fungus will get benefit from the alga, and such a relationship is called symbiotic association. Okay, here you can see a foliage tree dwelling lichens. Here you can observe. Okay, this is the wolf lichen. Okay, and this is also on the rock side lichen. So such a relationship here you can observe. These all are the example of a lichen. And how it is looking like, here you can see this is yellowish color fungal hyphae. Okay, and it is associated with the algal cell. This is looking like a greenish color. Okay, so fungal hyphae and algal cell together symbiotically associated, and benefit will give benefit to each other. Okay, such a relationship, such a component of a relationship is considered as a lichens. Here in this photograph you can observe all structure of a lichen. Okay, so in this photograph here you can see greenish color indicating the algal layer. Here also you can observe this is algal cell, and it is surrounded by fungal hyphae. Okay, so here this one is the fungal hyphae. Here all are fungal hyphae. So this association, symbiotic association of alga and fungi, all these together is called lichen. So today we are finishing this chapter. Okay, on finishing this chapter I am giving you two tasks. Okay, task 1 is to write all questions from textbook which is remaining from the exercise. Okay, and task 2 is to solve all MCQs from MCQ worksheet exercise 1. Okay, and before we finish this lecture, let me summarize whole topic by using one animation video. So look at this video.
R.H. Whittaker's five-kingdom system of classification did not take viruses, viroids and lichens into account. Viruses and viroids are acellular organisms. Since only organisms with cell structures were regarded as living, they were not included in the classification because they were not considered true living beings. Viruses are non-cellular organisms that possess an inert, crystalline structure outside their living cell. The name virus was coined by Louis Pasteur. The word virus means venom. The name is apt because when a virus infects a cell, it takes over the host cell's machinery to replicate itself. In this process, the host cell is killed. Though a virus remains inert outside its host cell, it cannot live independently without its host. Thus, viruses are known as obligate parasites. It was D.J. Ivanowski who in 1882 discovered the tobacco mosaic virus, or TMV, the microbe that causes mosaic disease in tobacco. This virus was smaller than a bacteria. Later, in 1898, M.W. Bijernik demonstrated that extracts of infected tobacco plants could also cause infection in other healthy plants. He referred to the virus as contagium vivum fluidum, meaning infectious living fluid. W. M. Stanley, in 1935, further proved that viruses could be crystallized. This meant fluid could be converted into crystals. These viral crystals are mainly protein crystals. In addition to proteins, viruses have a genetic makeup comprising either RNA or DNA. Therefore, viruses are nucleoproteins and their genetic material is infectious. Usually, viruses that infect plants have single-stranded RNA, while those that infect animals have double-stranded RNA or DNA. Bacteriophages, the viruses that infect bacteria, usually have double-stranded DNA. Typically, bacteriophages have a protein coat called a capsid that protects the nucleic acids. A capsid is made up of small subunits called capsomeres that are arranged either helically or in a polyhedral manner. Viruses infect plants, causing symptoms such as mosaic formation, leaf rolling and yellowing, dwarfing, and stunted growth. Humans too can be affected by viruses. Diseases such as the common cold, mumps, and smallpox are known to be caused by viruses. Even AIDS is caused by a virus known as HIV. Like viruses, viroids are also infectious, only they are smaller. They were first discovered by Theo Diener in 1971. Viroids lack the protein coat that viruses have. Hence the name viroid. Also, they have free RNA of low molecular weight. They are known to cause potato spindle tuber disease. Lichens, though they may look like single organisms, actually have two organisms inside them: algae and fungi. Both algae and fungi together have a mutually beneficial association called symbiosis. The algae component known as phycobiont, is autotrophic, while the fungal component, called mycobiont, is heterotrophic. So, algae prepare food for fungi, and fungi in turn provide shelter and absorb water and nutrients for algae. Therefore, viruses, viroids, and lichens were not placed anywhere in the classification system.
In next lecture, we will have chapter 2 revision test 1, in which I will ask you 20 MCQs. So be well prepared, and for that you have to prepare exercise 1, chapter 2 exercise 1 from MCQ sheet. So till that, goodbye.